Hello, and welcome to Insightful Conversations with your host, Three Principles practitioner, Adey-Jones. Join her each week as she welcomes some of the world's leading Three Principles teachers and practitioners who share how this understanding has dramatically improved the quality of their lives and the lives of those they work with.
I'm thrilled to have Mavis Karn with me today. Mavis is one of the original students of Sydney Banks, and she has been teaching the principles for over 40 years. Mavis, I can't thank you enough for being with me today. I have been listening to your other interviews with some amazing people, Rohini Ross and Michael Neal, and I'm extremely excited that you've agreed to come on my show. So
thank you. My pleasure.
Oh, so lovely to have you. So we had a brief email discussion beforehand, and I know that you wanted to talk about just how important it is that we know how beautifully we are designed. So I'd love it if you could just start talking about that, and then we'll just see where we go from there.
Okay. It occurs to me off and on, and even more, I think maybe the older I get or the more I'm paying attention or something, that I and probably most people get really impressed with electronics. Like, for instance, my phone. My phone is, I have no idea most of the things my phone does. I don't even know how to find out about it. And I am impressed with it. I am. And I am impressed with people that build robots. I saw film the other day about all the robots Amazon has now in their warehouse. And they're just like R2D2, and they're tooling around and they're doing all these things. And I think they're adorable and they're wonderful. And there are robots that do operations on people, which is just, I don't even know what to make of that. But at the same time, I can feel myself in awe of what these little machines can do. And when I really think about it, they're absolutely nothing compared to the apps in a human being. It's we're just like, for instance, just by having an intention, we can change the aperture in the lens in our eyes. We don't have to do anything except look that way and look far away and look close away. And with the intention of it, the lens changes. Who made that up? I mean, that's amazing. Or for instance, you and I are sitting in whatever position we're sitting in, and if we sit that way too long, there'll be a little disturbance, a little discomfort, and without paying any attention to it whatsoever, we'll just shift, because that's what that discomfort is there for, to let us know that the position that we're taking is now cutting off our circulation to a certain extent, and we shift. None of that has to be said or read about or anything. It's just a sensation that says, excuse me, could you shift a little bit now? And we just do it. And we could go on and on and on about, like, for instance, if we didn't have a built-in sensation, we couldn't walk, because we wouldn't know when our feet hit the ground. We wouldn't know if it was rough or smooth or icy or wet or going uphill or downhill, or we wouldn't be able to tell. So we would not be able to walk. Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense.
I mean,
yeah.
Those are there's those pretty phenomenal apps.
Absolutely.
We have an app that tells us when it's a good time to eat. We have apps that tell us whether what we just took out of the refrigerator and smelled was we should eat or not eat. I mean, that's pretty handy. So I remember, I think I might have mentioned this last time I talked to you, but some years ago I saw a photograph in my one of my nature magazines, and It was a picture of a great big turtle, and I think he was from Venezuela. I don't remember that, but he's looking up in the sky, and there are a whole bunch of bright colored butterflies around his eyes. And I thought, what is that? And the caption underneath said, "This turtle needs these butterflies need this turtle's tears for their reproductive process, and in return, the turtle gets its eyes cleaned." I Who made that up? I mean, that's just it's stunning. You take any little tiny bit of nature and you look into it, what its purpose is, and how this happens and how that happens, and it's I don't even know how to describe how astounding it is. And we are made of that same divine engineering. We are we are just an amazing piece of architecture. And I don't know about the rest of you, but for most of my life, I didn't know that. I thought I was too tall and too fat and too this and not enough this and all of that. I thought, there's a lot of problems with the design here. So I'm seeing how mistaken I was, and I'm getting more and more. It's a little late because I'm going to be 81 in a couple of weeks, but it's a little late. But I'm I'm uh, I'm just getting grateful for what's right under my nose. And my job for the last 40 some years has been to pass on information about how human experience comes about. And turns out it comes about by each human being's ability to create mental images, to think, and then to have those images appear as though they're real to us through our senses. So every human being is walking around creating their own unique reality, moment to moment, 24/7. Nobody is ever creating the same reality. And our emotions are the senses, the physical senses that let us know the quality of the human experience we're creating at any given moment. In other words, we're always feeling our thinking. We're not feeling what's going on outside of us. We're not feeling the news. We're feeling our thoughts about the news. We're not feeling somebody else's thinking. We're feeling our thoughts about their thinking. We're not feeling the past. We're feeling our thoughts about the past. We're not feeling the future, which, by the way, has never shown up in the history of time. But we imagine a future. We make up scary futures, pleasant futures, miraculous futures, and we feel as though they're real. So that alone is quite an app. We have free will to create our own experience. We don't have to leave it up to the outside. We don't have to leave it up to our gender or our age or where we're from or anything. We have free will to create our own unique experience all the time. And we're doing that whether we think we are or not. We're doing it whether we believe we are or not. Our experience is created from the inside out, no matter how much it looks like it's coming from the outside in. We can create such realistic experiences that look like they're coming from the outside. Like, for instance, um, here I'm in Minnesota, and Minnesota's into weather diversity. We have we don't have tsunamis yet, but you never know. So, but today it's like, I don't know, 18 degrees or something. And believe me, everybody in Minnesota has a completely different thought about that. It's little kids don't care. It's like, we got a little snow on the ground, and it's like, so let's go slide on that, or snowballs or whatever. And some people go, oh no, another winter. Oh, this is horrible. But the point is, it's weather. Weather isn't making us think anything. Weather is just being itself. So I don't know about you or anyone else, but the older I get, the more grateful I am that I have something to say about the quality of my experience at any given moment, and that there is a guidance system built into me that I didn't have to buy or order or um, earn, that's letting me know all the time the quality of the experience I'm creating. So every emotion I have, I feel physically. You can't you can't sneak a thought by your body. You cannot have a thought that your body doesn't mirror back to you in the form of an emotion, a feeling. So that's that's the most loving science, that we're given free will in the first place, which is an amazing great gift. And then we're given this feedback system to tell us when we're using it the way it was meant to be used, and we're using it in a way that's of service to us and others, or we're misusing it. That's what a loving thing to give us that gift, and then the means to know whether we're using it for good or we're creating something that's not in service to us or anyone else. So one of the things that's, for me, that's so helpful about knowing that, not just for my own personal life, it's just the messes I don't have to make anymore are legion. I just, if I wish I would have known this the first 40 years of my life, I wouldn't have had so much stuff to clean up all the time. But um, it, when I'm feeling cranky or ornery or what I used to do is express that and blame God knows who or what on it, and try to figure it out and analyze it, which goes, of course, just intensified it. But I will still have low moods. I'll get, overtired or something, and old thoughts come into my head, and it's so handy to know that that feeling is just letting me know not a good time to trust my thinking. I'll be smarter again any minute now. It's just a mood. It's just racket. And and that really prevents a lot of messes. But I was going to say also that it really helps me understand others. Um, because no matter how people are feeling and behaving, I know that they either know how well they're made or they don't. So it explains everybody. Because when you see people just behaving in really nasty ways, just being cruel or disrespectful or whatever, just being bitter and angry and either towards themselves or others or whatever. What you know about them is that they have no idea how well they're made. They have no idea when to trust their thinking and when not to. It's not their fault. That's not an excuse. It's just a reason. They're behaving that way because if they do know how well they're made, they forgot it or they don't know, so that they will repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and have the same consequences to them and to others. Not because that's necessary, but because it's the natural outcome of not knowing how you're made. There's a lot of innocence in that, huh?
Yeah, beautiful. And there really is. I love that, seeing the psychological innocence. It's really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
Listening to you talk, I could just, I'm just sinking into this beautiful feeling. I'm like, I don't even want to hear myself. So I would love you to just keep sharing. It's just so wonderful. It's beautiful.
Do you know what that is? That feeling?
Mm-hmm.
That's you.
Oh yeah. Me marinating in the essence of who I am, not getting caught.
Yeah, your head is calming down and clearing, and you're listening, and it's effortless listening because you're I didn't make all this stuff up that I'm talking about. It's just the truth. It's like, and we know it. I think I've mentioned this before to people. I can't remember who I said what to, but I'm running kind of a scam that I anybody that's interested, I tell people what they actually already know inside. People know what I know. They just may not be so familiar with knowing it, but they know it. And if they're doing what you're doing, which is kind of just relaxing and let me do all the heavy lifting here, you calm down and it's like, oh yeah, I knew that. That feels true. That's true. And that's just who you really are, telling you what you already know. I didn't put that there. I just, my job is to just tell people how wonderful who they really are is, and invite them to come home to themselves and see that there's nothing wrong with them. I don't ever see anybody that has anything wrong with them. I see people that think they do. I see people that can prove to themselves they do. They have all this evidence, mistakes they've made, on and on. And that to them is proof that they are kind of a wreck and they are full of mistakes and they're no good or they're not as good as others or whatever. Now, they don't know this, but they're making all that up. It's not true. It's just not true. All the messes I made and the mistakes I've made in my life weren't because I'm a horrible person. They were because I didn't know I was a good person. I didn't know that truth doesn't hurt. Truth is powerful. It's loving. It's liberating. And it's what you're made of. And you can believe that or not believe it, but it's true anyway. It's like nobody could get me off that.
I was just sharing that I'm remembering a story somebody told me. Was a Native American who said that it used to be that when somebody in the tribe had done something, wrong or whatever it was, that the tribe would come around and just take it in turns to tell that young boy or whoever it was that had done something that they thought he shouldn't have done, how great he was, and just to remind him. So that was, they sort of marinated him in love and reflecting back to him that there was nothing wrong with him. And I love that, and it's the same. It feels the same when you were sharing that, and I'm thinking to that letter that you don't take credit for. You said it just came through you, but the letter that you wrote to those young, now were they at-risk youth? The Secret, the letter, The Secret.
They were. I did a 2-year project with teenagers in prison, teenage boys. They were great. Yeah. They were in prison for doing some not so great things, but they did them just because all the rest of us did things that we shouldn't have done. They did them because they didn't know who they were. They didn't know. And they were easy to teach this to. They were hilarious. But they were just, I wish you all could see the picture I have in my head of them. They're tall and they're short. They're black and they're white and they're yellow, and they're just every color imaginable, and they're full of energy. Most of which they misused, which is why they were in prison. But they loved hearing that they aren't their past. They aren't the diagnosis that they all picked up. That in my world, a diagnosis is the name of a bad habit of thinking. And they aren't that. They aren't what they think. They're the thinker. And they were doing the best they knew to do, given that they didn't know what their options were. So on the last day of my 2 years, I think that's what you're talking about. I wanted to give them something. And I thought, I'll give them socks. No, I didn't want to give them socks. So I sat down and I wrote them a letter. And it really did, as you mentioned, feel like the letter wrote itself. I was just so full of love for them and a little bit of sweet sadness that I wasn't going to be hanging out with them anymore. And I just, and I made a copy to each and gave it to them. And that turned into a poster that got made in prison. And it's found its way all over the place now. It's like I don't have anything to say about it. It just goes flying around. But it's I wanted them to always remember who they really were, no matter how anybody else thought about them. We aren't what somebody else thinks about us either. So this is I know that in lots of ways, whoever is listening to this, it sounds too simple. That we are already everything that we need to be. And the only thing that makes us think we aren't is some thinking that isn't true. I know that sounds too simple, but what if that's why it works? Our brains are lying to us all the time. It's nothing personal. They're just telling us what they have been taught to think. And some of what's in our brains is just simply not true. And things that aren't true don't feel like things that are true. And isn't that just the best architecture you ever heard? Your feelings they're all on your side, every one of them, all the way from the deepest sort of love and caring to the most nasty, self-terrorizing feelings. They're on your side. They're saying, this is the way it feels to think the way you're thinking. They're all saying that, but they're not telling you to try to figure out what you're thinking. They're just telling you you are thinking in a way that feels like this, and it's none of your business what you were thinking. Just be who you really are. That's more than enough for anything.
So beautiful, and it really is.
If you want to know when to trust your thinking, check in with how you feel.
And I wonder, you mentioned who we really are, and I would love you just to read. We only have a few more minutes left, about 5 minutes or so, but I remember you talking about what we really are, the essence of who we are. I'd love to finish off with you describing that.
I'll have to just let it come to me because I don't remember what I say from time to time. In my world, who we really are is pure potential. We come into the world. We don't come into the world with bad habits of thinking. You know, we're not laying in our cribs thinking, "Oh my God, I'm bald. This is horrible. This is not going to work out well for me." Or, "Oh my gosh, my parents are poor." Or, "Oh my gosh, I don't have a father." Or, "Oh my gosh, this or that." We don't come into the world like that. We don't come into the world judging ourselves or others. We don't come into the world comparing ourselves to others. We're nothing but pure divine energy. And we are always that, even if we forget that we are. I forget. I'll have some stupid thoughts come into my head, and one of my favorite bad habits, I'm not really loving the habit, but I'll look in the mirror and go, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" But there used to be a whole lot more negative energy around that. Now I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny. It just doesn't matter to me. The things that used to matter to me about what other people thought or how I looked that used to matter. Now I find it kind of funny that it mattered. I wonder why would that matter? And it's nice. It's nice to know that, like, I probably don't have a lot of time on the planet left. I don't know, who knows? I don't even know what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. But my plan was to just, as long as I'm upright, and I have several people that I've told that they should tell me when I'm demented or whatever. I want to know. But then my plan is, I think I'll just evaporate. When I get too old to be of use, I think I'll just evaporate. And I mostly thought that was funny, but I thought, I might just do that. I'll just, I look in the mirror and I see, okay, there's I'm changing form. We all are, not just me. I'm changing form, and pretty soon I'll go back to being pure energy. Because I think that's what dying is. It's energy doesn't die. Ergo, I'll become energy in a different form or formless, and who knows what that's going to lead to. It's just now. Like now I'm here, it's like, hey, everybody, who knows what's going to happen next? But it's a potluck dinner. Bring love. Nobody's allergic to it. There's no container. It's nourishing. And you have an endless supply of it because it's what you're made of. Bring love.
Well, that's beautiful and so true. You know, when we just all away from all that thinking, that just is what I feel, just this incredible amounts of love.
Yeah.
In love.
It's what you're made of. Isn't that amazing?
Well, thank you so much. That was absolutely.
Oh, you're welcome.
wonderful.
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, really, really beautiful. And gosh, I would love to meet you in person one day. So let's hope that things change and it's going to be safe travel. And
who knows what's going to happen? But mask off, mask up, stay safe, and bring love.
Well, thank you again. It's been such a pleasure. And
you're most welcome.
Wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Take care.
And you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the show. If you're interested in learning more about my coaching and mentoring packages, please reach out to me at Adey-Jones@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you.